All right, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to get started with our call for today. We've got Cheryl in the room. Got to just see, we've got Marty in the room. I've got to go and find where I've put my phone. Hopefully Tiff will be here. And there's Samina, Jocelyn. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. How you doing this Thursday morning? Everyone's good? Excellent, excellent. So I don't see Tiff yet. I've been out and about, and so I don't even know where my phone is. Find it. It's Thursday morning, which means it's garbage morning. It's remote pathways, community call morning, and here I am. So, anyway, we're almost midway. I was thinking actually very early today about the end of this sprint because we're coming towards the midpoint of the sprint. We will be continuing until year end, but there will be a few days in the holidays that I'll be taking off to renew because that is a very important part of this. So today we're mapping to day 47 and 49. If you want to give me 1 minute, I'm going to just step aside and get Clubhouse on the line here. And I want to ask you, when you hear the words empathy, team practices, and commitment, what comes to mind? Just take 30 seconds to make a note for yourself. What comes to mind when you think of empathy, team practices, and commitment? There's Tiff. Hey, Tiff, we are just getting started with empathy, team practices, and commitment because, of course, it's Thursday. I've got to find a cord to plug you in because I have 3% left on this phone. So with that, it is Thursday, and we're going to be doing a midpoint review tomorrow on Friday. So I just want to give a little heads up. Be sure to come back Friday for our midpoint review, and you'll need a pen and a piece of paper. But today we're talking empathy, team practices, and commitment here at the 90-day guide for success. So here's what Ernest Hemingway said: when people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen. I know many of you on the call today are coaches, and that's a big part of our world of work, listening in, really listening in and watching where our attention is going. And a big part of empathy is about listening. So we started the week really getting you thinking about your top 3. And I hope that you've been listening in to others, right? We've done a lot of breakout work this week. We'll do some breakouts today around empathy and what you're committed to. But listen for what others are really committed to. Are they committed to ongoing growth and success? Are they committed to developing themselves and investing in themselves? What is it that people are committed to? Empathy is about sometimes looking at how we might walk in another person's shoes. It's a really critical skill set in the hybrid and remote workspace. And there's a lot of new research just starting to emerge. It's been anecdotal up to this point, but now there's research that's saying actually one of the most important ingredients for success in teams and for success in a hybrid and virtual workspace is empathy. So a couple of ways to think about building empathy. Number 1, provide opportunities to get to know each other. If you are doing, if you are a leader or if you are a facilitator of a group, how can you provide an opportunity for people to connect? And that's a big part of what we're doing here at the 90-day guide. In a few minutes, as most of you know, we'll be moving into some breakout time where you get to be together and really get to know each other in both a formal and an informal way. Another way to build empathy is actually to do some learning around it and create formal learning partnerships with others on your team. The more connections we have, the more we can really widen our view. We can get an appreciation of some of the priorities, some of the challenges, and some of the opportunities facing others that we work with. Empathy connects in with where we started today. It is about being present and listening for the deeper layers. What is it that people really need? In fact, listening to a lot of HR professionals, listening to a lot of remote workers was what led me to say earlier this year, you know what? I think book 2 in the Reconnecting Workspaces series needs to be the 90-day guide for success.
Mhm.
Even though there was a book on digital entrepreneurship that was actually more well edited and at a further stage in the publishing process, I said, you know what? I think the thing that's going to be needed next is the 90-day guide for success. And last night, I was speaking with a large group of HR professionals, and they were so interested in this. So if any of you are watching, you know, think about how you can be creating opportunities in your organizations for people to start building this muscle set of empathy. Again, understanding a little bit more about the others that they work with. As we say here, it's not just about getting results, it's also about boosting those relationships. So a final piece around building empathy, and you'll find this in day 47 of the 90-day guide, is thinking about taking some time to share more about your world, your work, and your priorities. Empathy, like trust, is really a two-way street, right? We can only be empathetic with those that we are in some sort of relationship with. Otherwise, we're making a lot of assumptions. So I think it's important that we're communicating in an appropriate way, in appropriate channels, more about what your world is, your work, and your priorities. So think about empathy. I want to just pause here and see if anyone has reflections or comments they want to make about building empathy and maybe where you're seeing this as an important skill at the moment in your world. Is anyone spending time working around empathy or supporting clients with empathy?
So I am actually going into emotional intelligence. I'm going to be going here and there and trying to decide which course or I want to take, which training in emotional intelligence. And the first few questions you had, empathy, where do I find it? So we have a team, it's 3 we're the board of our nonprofit organization. I find I am more empathetic towards one of the members. She's a young mom. So she's always saying, okay, let's keep them. She's always saying 8:38 meetings, and she's always kind of sometimes late, sometimes not. So I'm trying to be I am very accommodating compared to the other person. I find, and the thing is she works, she gets her stuff done. It's just that, the baby didn't sleep at 8:30, which she expected because she's teething, or, she was very cranky, or she was tired. So, so I find, before I might have, so I'm building on empathy. I'm trying to use that more. And I find I tend to be accommodating with her. And then, but she does say, I'm still here. I'm not going to be there, but I'm listening to you. And then whatever she commits to, she gets the work done. So empathy, team practices, and commitment. She's committed.
And I think that's why I wanted to put these together, right? It's not just about empathy in isolation, nor is it about empathy in what we see on a screen, right? So there's a term that I've used a lot in this body of work, which is like, what's beyond the screen? Understanding what people are navigating, what people are having to, embrace in a changing world, at least right now in 2021, right? The pandemic is not yet over, even if people think that it is. So how are we being empathetic to, people who are facing challenges, whether it's mental health issues, whether it is physical issues, whether it's isolation or just change. So very much, I hope that you'll think about that along with, as you said, practices. So practices and commitments. So I don't have slides for this. I'm going to just actually take off our slides for a minute. And I want to take us into page 295 of the 90-day guide, because I want to read to you a quote that I found incredibly motivational in my first year of business. So whether you are a team leader or whether you're an entrepreneur growing your business, commitment is key, right? It's not something that we can replace. It needs to come from within. And so I want to share with you a quote that goes back a couple of centuries actually to a Scottish Himalayan climbing adventure. And it was captured by William H. Murray. And here's what they wrote. Okay, so they said, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no person could have dreamed would have come their way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So some of that you would notice at the end, but this, from what
Mhm.
I understand of the story, was shared by a group of gentlemen in those days, hikers who were going to be going up the Himalayas. And I love that because we do have to ask ourselves in moments in life, are we committed? Are we committed 100%? And in many extreme environments, extreme sports, there's no midpoint between 0 and 100, right?
Mhm.
Either you do it or you don't. Either
Mhm.
you do it with success or you may perish. And I
Mhm.
think in business development, right? It's like asking ourselves, what are we committed to doing? Where will we go all in? And that's what today's topic of day 49 with the teams in focus, team practices and team commitment. The beauty in a team is that if I need to step back, hopefully others have my back. So there is a layer of team commitment, which would be different than a layer of individual commitment. So I want to just leave you with that thinking today around commitment. And that's going to be a nice segue into our ta-da, conversation of the day. So I would like to invite you today to have a dialogue, whether you're here on Clubhouse or whether you're here on our Zoom room, to talk with your partners, your colleagues around what are you committed to? Whether it's what you're committed to before the end of this year, or whether it's about what are you committed to in the new year. You've got 10 minutes right to really think through what's important and what are you ready to go all in around. What aren't you ready to go all in around, right? Because we might also have to say no, and that's okay. Saying no is a key part of business as well.
So with that, put all of you
breakouts, and we are going to have 10 minutes in your breakout rooms today. We'll have a couple of breakout rooms happening, and today we've got Cheryl, Marty, Samina in room 1 and Jocelyn and Tiff in room 2, and Tiff will bring those in from Clubhouse as well. The question is, how are you committed? What are you committed to? And if you'd like to wrap empathy into that, by all means, please do so. I will see you in 10 minutes. Doors are open for your breakout and enjoy. All right, how was that? Who enjoyed the convo? Feeling more committed to what you're doing?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
fade for a second.
Oops.
She said she was going to fade for a second, so maybe.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, Jocelyn.
Oh,
so
you're
lucky.
welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice to see you.
I'm getting there. I might even have a morning face by tomorrow. That's my goal, ladies. My goal is tomorrow I'm going to be on camera.
Oh, and if you're not, you're going to be kind. You'll
Yes,
try
thank
again the
you.
next day. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so I hear some laughter. I hear some commitments. Everyone's
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
awesome. Is there any hesitancy, as they said in the session? Any hesitancy? No?
No.
Good. Well, look at that.
No.
Boost it up, rip the knob off, as we used to say on the volume dial, because you got to tomorrow, midpoint review. We'll spend our 9 minutes on a midpoint review, and then we're going to go straight into our 21 minutes. So think about what you want to definitely get done before the end of the week, and I will see you then. Enjoy your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a
Bye.
great day.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Jennifer.